My video for August 2nd, 2017 is entitled USA Inc. Fraud plus Heather Tucci-Jarraf Update. Yes, all corporate governments, national, state, county, city, and any other, are all fraudulent, depriving us without our consent of our natural rights. We naturally have the right of free speech, freedom of religion, freedom to travel, the right to be judged by a jury of our peers without the control of bar attorneys or judges. These rights were called unalienable in the Declaration of Independence and upheld in the Bill of Rights of the original U.S. Constitution. Some people still don't get this because it's been well concealed from the masses. We'll see how things progress in the case of Heather Ann Tucci-Jarraf as she faces an unlawful court financed by a criminal syndicate of international bankers. And I'm going to make a correction here. While I do not think most people are awake and enlightened enough to know what to do with sudden wealth, I still pray for real change in the world of criminal enterprises for the profit of a few at the expense of many. I'll start with Heather. I don't have a lot of information. There was a hearing that occurred yesterday afternoon in Washington, D.C. She's not in Tennessee. She's in Washington still. And there was a hearing, and I guess the only thing that was accomplished is that they are going to allow people to come in from outside. It was basically a closed court when she appeared earlier last week, but now they are going to be allowing people, and the next hearing is on Friday. And she was handcuffed, I guess, on one side of her body. I mean, if I remember reading it correctly, there was a handcuff on a leg and an arm, I assume on the same side of the body. So she was half handcuffed and half free. That's ironic as I say it that way. Anyway, the United States corporation is a fraudulent conveyance. It's a fraudulent enterprise. Has been from the beginning. It has been a game plan of the international bankers who are international criminals. They believe that they have the right to rule the world. They have been backed by apparently extraterrestrial demonic beings that are separate from the love of God, separate from truth, separate from the reality of most humans. And I say most humans because some of us that appear to be humans are cloned, and I don't know if a cloned being is actually human or not. They are programmed monsters or computers with skin. So, I mean, I'm not sure how that works. But as I said in the blurb, our natural rights were some of our natural rights anyway were enumerated in the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence and the original founding documents of the United States. And as Benjamin Franklin rightly said to the lady who asked, "What have you given us?" He says, "We've given you a constitution, ma'am, if you can hold it." And there was already plans underway to steal that constitution and steal those rights from us. And it took some time, but after the Civil War, things accelerated and the United States lost its status as an independent nation and ultimately became totally embroiled and, from their perspective, owned by the international bankers. They were in control, and they kept eroding and eroding and eroding natural rights, turning us into corporations so that they could control us, because a corporation has no jurisdiction over a human being. Never did, cannot, it's impossible. It only works like with like. And human beings, hence a jury of our peers. Peers means humans have to be the ones that sit in judgment on other humans, not people with bar attorneys. Again, the original 13th Amendment prohibited those with titles of nobility or alliances with foreign powers from holding public office in the United States. And yet, in today's world, most of those that hold public offices are bar attorneys, which is the British accredited registry, as I've said so many times, and they are operating illegal, or more precisely, an unlawful enterprise, a criminal enterprise, if you will. The courts are not courts at all. They are places where the criminals get to hang on to their criminality and pronounce everybody that's trying to claim their natural rights, they claim them as dead, and they don't even need to be heard. They put on a pretense of listening, but they can't listen because what's being presented in opposition to their control is not relevant to them, and not only not relevant, but actually threatening. Not in a physical sense threatening, but in a moral, lawful sense. It's threatening to them, so they keep that out. And they are, again, unlawful courts, unlawful congresses, unlawful executive branches. That's why people say, well, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a corporate entity operating in a corporate system. Now, he's really not corporate. He's really a human being, the same as the rest of us are human beings. But he's operating in a corporate system. And the corporate system is the problem. It's not the solution. The solution can never come as long as the corporate system remains in place. The corporate system and the monetary system of fiat has to be brought down, and I know that's not even 100% true on the fiat part, because it's okay for a real government of people to use mediums of exchange at their will. I mean, it can be paper, but it's still not to be controlled by an elite that claims to own it all, and it claims it as their personal property. We have not been fully informed. Therefore, we cannot be held accountable to these charlatans because they did not inform us how they stole our rights. So that doesn't stand. Fraud has no statute of limitations, and they committed fraud. And Lucifer's kingdom, if you will, is based totally on defrauding human beings, defrauding civilization, defrauding everything that's been created has been created out of fraud, and it has no standing in truth. It has no ability to actually take away rights, except that we have been brainwashed and dumbed down and coerced and controlled by subtle means without giving us complete information on how this has been occurring. This is what needs to change. Now, there's reports of a currency revaluation and things going on. If any of that's true, I don't know. There's been lots of plans to reestablish the true republic, and many states have already had movements to withdraw from the United States and to become independent states. Whether any of that will take place in my lifetime, I hope so. I hope so. I'd like to see the breakdown of everything that takes away human rights. And I'd like to see truth and love established. Anyway, Thank you, folks, for listening again, and namaste.